Hello everybody, it's me, Riffraff Hornhelm, and I'm back again with another presentation from the Dwarven Vault. And today, we have a monster review. And today we're going to take a look at a monster from the original monster manual from the Devil section. And we're going to take a look at GERYON, or GERYON, who is one of the archdevils, the least of the archdevils, as listed in the book. Once again, what we're looking at is the creature in review for the book, or from the book, I should say. And this has nothing to do with religion. This is strictly reviewing the creature and its uses within Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. This is a nasty critter, okay? It looks, I mean, you can see here, it looks pretty damn weird. It's got a very handsome head and torso, human, with a pair of big hairy arms with paws on the end of it, and wings, and a long tail with a poisonous sting in the end of the tail. Which, by the way, if you get hit by that, it's -4. You take 2 to 8 damage, and then it's -4 on your save for poison. Now, this devil has 133 hit points, and once again, in the early context of the game, that was a lot. Not considered so much by today's standards. It's a creature that is super strong. It loves to grab its opponents and rend them to pieces with its claws rather than using weapons, at the same time while plunging its venomous tail repeatedly into its victim. Friendly guy. And of course, to help him out, he's got this big horn. And he can win the horn only once per week. And it'll bring forth 5 to 20 minotaurs that will fight as his bodyguards to the death. I mean, minotaurs aren't the strongest creatures, but they're not the weakest either. If he got towards the maximum limit on that, it could make it interesting. Oh, well, certainly some interesting combat. Now, like every devil, he has an assortment of powers that all devils share, and I'll pin that video at the end about the general powers of devils. And of course, on top of that, they have a great deal of intelligence. This is exceptionally intelligent. And like all devils, is, of course, lawful evil. Now, it has a ton of different powers that it can use at will. And those include things like, beguiling and detect magic and invisible and just on and on and on. It's a lengthy list. You should refer back to the book. I'm not going to cover every individual spell. But it also does include a unholy word. They're able to do some pretty cool stuff on that side to cause you all kinds of misery. Now, of course, in addition to the bull's horn that can bring the minotaurs, it has the ability to gate in potentially some bone devils or ice devils. I think it's 60% chance of some bone devils, 40% chance of an ice devil or two. And it has a 95% chance of success on whatever happens on that side. So that combined with the minotaurs would give you a very fearsome opponent on that side. And of course, it's a devil. If you kill it, well, unless you're in its home plane, which is the 5th plane of hell, where it resides in a castle in the center, you're not really going to kill it. You're just going to banish it back to its home plane. For obvious reasons, seeking combat or interaction with an archdevil is probably not really high on the list of smart things to do, at least unless you're a lawful evil character that's maybe looking for its patronage or something of that nature. And when it comes to this kind of a creature, no, none of the Hornhelms have ever had any kind of interaction, and hope we never do, with a creature like this. Of course, the gaming world's a little bit different. And though these are certainly out of favor today, these are creatures that are familiar to both players and dungeon masters out there. So, in asking them, how would you rank GERYON, or GERYON, the archdevil? What I got told by the dungeon masters is that, yeah, this is like a 9. Maybe 8.5. Wouldn't argue with that too much. It's probably a little high. I'd probably be on the lower end of that, but it's a very potent opponent. And in going to the characters, people who've run into this in adventures and so forth, they all this was consistently a 9+. Apparently, people had not fared well in their interactions with this creature. I think that's a little high myself, but hey, when you're on the receiving end, you look at it a bit differently. So an interesting creature, not one that you see much anymore these days. The whole devil thing seems to have, especially the ones from the original game, seems to have been kind of quietly gone away for the most part, not all of it. And this one here is one of the ones that is probably much less offensive than some of the ones that rank towards the top of the devils, but we'll talk about those later. In any case, this, my friends, is GERYON, the Archdevil, and we hope you found today's presentation to be interesting, educational, amusing, all that kind of good stuff. And if you did, well, please be so kind as to give us a like, consider subscribing if you haven't. But most of all, come back and see us again real soon. We thank you so very much for your kind support. Take care, everyone, and remember, dwarves rock!